What do you mean? I have $100.
Not anymore, you don't. Poof.
Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? Alright, already we're seeing disturbing trends across our nation regarding our bank accounts and the money that's in them. I've been warning people now for a couple of years. You need to take your money out of your bank account and put it somewhere safe. And I know for a lot of you it's easier said than done, but try to become creative. I only keep enough money in my bank account to cover my monthly bills. I know what my monthly bills are going to cost me per month or thereabout, and I'll put that money in the account and then pay off my bills. The rest of the money, I don't keep money in my bank account. The banks are getting ready to look for excuse to once again steal the wealth from the people. And everybody that I hear talking about what's going on, all of us feel the same thing. That all these little events we're seeing happening with people's bank accounts is going to be the excuse they use to try to push us into the central bank digital currency. So don't get caught off guard because you're going to get screwed over. Make sure you have your money in gold and silver. Before we get started, do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button. And if you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel and I certainly do appreciate it. If you're thinking about buying gold and silver, head on over to our friends at Money Metals Exchange. The link will be down below in the description. If you are a first-time buyer and you spend more than $100, use promo code PIMPYSILVER. Yes, it has changed. PIMPYSILVER. So if you're watching this video and it's an older video, make sure you check on current videos because the code is going to be changing from time to time from now on. Also, I can be found on other platforms. Everybody knows I have my own website, Pimpy's News Network. Over here, I post videos that I can't get away with over on YouTube. Also, I have a group on Facebook called Pimpy's Investment Chat. Over here, we do talk about gold, silver, cryptocurrencies, as well as foreign currency investments. Come on over here and join us. It's free to do so. You can also come follow me on Twitter, MeWe, YouTube, and Odyssey. The links for all these platforms will be down below in the description. So for whatever reason, if I get removed off of one platform, you could find me on the others. For those of you looking for my address, there it is right here. Feel free to pause the video, go ahead and write it down and reach out to me. Yeah, this meme says it all. And then I realized we can steal money directly from their bank accounts. What's happening everywhere is an absolute planned event. Everybody's waking up to that fact. But meanwhile, another territory that people might put their money as a safe haven in the air is going to be in cryptocurrencies. Right now, everybody's fear is a bank run, and rightfully so. But I also want you to keep in mind, part of that bank run is their ability to take the money out of your crypto accounts as well. I've proven that several times. If your bank is linked to your cryptocurrency account, you need to go into their pamphlets where they talk about what is and is not taken out of your account if a bail-in happens. So far, all of them I've seen, cryptocurrency is included. So be safe. All right, Bitcoin's at $23,169.35. Ethereum's at $1,671.33. I saw a video recently with Crypto Chico talking about Ethereum getting ready to do some new things that's going to cause it to really take off. And I like the news, and I'll go ahead and find a video and share it with you. XRP is at 40 cents. Cardano is at 39 cents. Dogecoin is at 9 cents. Polygon's at $1.28. Solana is at $23.63. Look at Hex, once again, up 13.42%. That particular crypto is crazy, and you can't find it on regular platforms. You have to go to one of these beta, whatever the heck it is, Pancake, Sushi, I don't know. Somebody knows how to do this, but I cannot find Hex on my regular one, so I'm going to have to try my Coinbase wallet and see if I can find it there. As you can see, it's only 4 cents each, and it goes through some serious radical swings, but you definitely want to try to catch it on the way up and benefit from it. Polkadot's at $6.84. Shiba is still at 5014. Litecoin is above $100, sitting at 101.09. So Terra Luna is at 3018. So Saitama V2 still slowly climbing. We're looking at 202618, up 2.41% over the past 24 hours. You can see the 24-hour chart is in green. The 7-day chart is in green. 1 month chart is in green. And a 3-month chart is in green. Saitama has 39% of its supply is in circulation already. They have a burning mechanism like other tokens that is being used. So this is awesome. Saitama at 0.202619. So gold's at $1,880.60. After a nice, long, consistent climb, we had that bit of a drop from around $1,957 down almost $100 in about a day, but since then has climbed back up to almost $1,900. This was in the aftermath of the good jobs report, which is just bullshit. We know the numbers are fake, don't fall for it, but the paper market responds to fake data. Silver is at $22.44, the same thing. Actually, it had a nice little healthy climb, but it had been plateau. Quickly jumped up to $24.59 and then dropped $2 over 2 days, but it's starting to climb back up. The only thing this is good for is when you go to purchase from these retailers, it gives you an opportunity to continue to add to your inventory while it's lower. And for those of you thinking about going to gold and silver for your first time, now is the time because the premiums are low. Usually the premiums are like $10, $15 above spot. That's not happening right now. You could not have picked a better time to get in. And for those of you who have already been stacking, this is a good time to add to your inventory, if you get my drift. Okay, shout out to Redacted. You can see right here, it says banks admit the collapse is coming and they don't want you to know about it. And they're not lying. You're going to hear video that was leaked. And when you hear what these bankers have to say, they know the crash is coming. And they know your money is going to be taken out of your account. I've been warning you about this. And they're talking about making sure that the public is not notified about this. You should be pissed. So let's go through, watch a video, and make comments as we go along. I will leave a link for this video so you can see their whole segment down below in the description.
Have you noticed recently that not all of your money is in your bank account? Perhaps you've noticed that your direct deposits are having issues. Maybe you've got a direct deposit, but all of it's not there. Maybe a portion of it is missing for some reason. Have you experienced this? Let us know. We actually have a poll up right now, and you can drop us a comment below if you're watching.
It's shocking how many people in all the different banks are experiencing missing money out of their account. And when they go to get help at the branch is not helping them. They're telling them to call the corporate office. Do you understand how big of a pain in the ass that is? Now, my experiences have been recently, when people want to Zelle me money, I usually get it within a minute at the most. It's there, it's in my account. But lately, when people are Zelling me money, the bank is saying I have to wait 3 to 5 days. Why? It's digital. Why the hell do I got to wait 3 to 5 days? And they make every excuse in the world. There's a liquidity problem is what it is. But I don't care what the excuse is. There's only like around 4 or 5% of our actual money that they claim to be out there that's in physical form. So around 96% of it is digital. So what the hell are they waiting for? I pay electronically anyways. But everybody knows that this is going to be their excuse to push us into this central bank digital currency.
You're not alone, though, if you're experiencing this, because, in fact, we here at Redacted have been hearing from a number of you. And as many of you have said now, we've had thousands of people vote in our poll, and they've all been experiencing issues. Turns out you're not alone in this. We're going to have more on exactly what's happening to these bank accounts in just a moment. But first, something big is happening to our money supply. And the banking system is starting to freak out a little bit. They don't say this publicly, but they're starting to freak out. And
just to see if it's related, because I just had this recently, never had it happen before. I have an Apple credit card. It's backed by Goldman Sachs. And generally when I make my payment, that money is available instantly. I made a payment this week, and I called them. I'm like, this money isn't showing up. They said, yeah, you've got a 10-day hold now on that money.
One of my credit cards did the same thing. Actually, I'm paying off my credit cards again, like I did in the past, and then tearing them up. I don't need them, to be honest with you. I was using them to boost my credit score up, and I got it up to almost 800. And so now I'm just going to get rid of them. And just so you are aware, you get penalized for not having credit cards. So I usually get a couple of new cards with the $500 balance, charge them up to full time, pay them off fully when the payment's done, and then charge them up about 25%, and then make minimum payments just to carry a good score on your credit. But yes, I made a payment on my credit card, and they were telling me it takes 10 days now.
But it is not showing on the Apple Card because they said it's going to take 10 days. I'm like, 10 days?
Are we learning now that the banks have no money in their vaults and they're ready to take your money instead? Just yesterday, Bank of America issued this alert. Bank of America still forecasting 2023 recession. Fed action not enough. An odd alert, actually, saying that they're forecasting a massive recession for 2023.
Well, I don't know. If you listen to Biden, according to him, we have the strongest economy ever. Isn't that what they're telling us?
And they went further to say that the federal government is not doing enough to stop it. What the federal government is doing won't stop it. In 2013, following the collapse of the housing market in the United States, that calamity flowed to Europe in a domino effect for the small Mediterranean country of Cyprus. Remember this?
I did a video called Lessons from Cyprus when I was trying to educate everybody on what a bail-in was. And so he's going to cover the same thing. I felt it was some kind of test run, and that's the way the people felt over in Cyprus. But pay attention, because this is going to happen all around the world. And listen to how much money the people lost.
Outside the banks, the lines are long, customers worried.
You don't have cash now, can't do anything.
The banks haven't opened for 7 days, so Cyprus is becoming a cash society, and yet it's hard to get cash.
No accounts, no cards, no nothing.
And so what will they do?
God knows. Suicide.
Increasingly, this is happening.
What happened?
There's no money. I mean, I couldn't get any money out, and then my card won't come out.
So not only is there no money, but then you take my card as well. I went to the bank to try to get money out of the bank. Sorry, unavailable, they said. No money. You can't come here. So if the bank had $1 billion of your money, or of the people's money, it spent your money on other investments, on loans, loaning out money. So it didn't actually have any of your money in the bank. That was the real secret.
So that little video clip that you've seen at the beginning of this video, that was an episode on South Park in which they made fun of this. Kyle went in to start a bank account, a savings account, and he gave the gentleman his $100. He just gave it to him. And the guy said a bunch of mumbly jumbly, and then he goes, and then it's gone. And the kid's like, what? He's like, it's gone. Poof, it's gone. He's like, I just gave you the $100. I should have $100 in my account. He's like, it's gone. So South Park made a pretty funny video about it, but the truth of the matter is, it's more closer to reality than people know.
And it used to be that they only had to keep 10% of your money in the bank. You put in $100, the bank had to keep $10 in the bank. They could lend out the other 90. Then when COVID hit, no more 10%. Now they could literally give 100% of your money away in form of loans, mortgages.
That is part of this event. It's part of this plan. Before, they had to keep money in there, and they had it there to give to the people. Now their excuse is going to be, well, we lent out all the money. There's no money in the bank, which is violating laws. Coronavirus was the excuse to break every law and protocol out there pertaining to our freedoms, our speech, as well as our financial situation. This is all part of a bigger event, and people need to wake up to this. If you're not taking the steps necessary, like storing up of food, water, first aid, gold, silver, you're really going to be hurting when the time comes.
So keep none of it in the bank because,
I was just going to say, because it was a perfect time when everybody was so distracted with other things that nobody's really going to be paying attention to the fact that the banks are now kind of changing their own rules, and Congress is helping them along so that they can make more money.
Look, everybody, there's Chinese spying balloons up in the sky. So all these stupid stories that are coming across the news are meant to distract you from the bigger picture. And the media is avoiding telling you the truth about a lot of events that are taking place that are way more important than a damn balloon floating around the sky.
So these Cypriot banks in Cyprus suddenly needed help after this run of money. And the European Union said, sorry, we're not going to bail you out. You need to use another tool at your disposal known as a bail-in, meaning the billions of dollars that you have in your account from random depositors, You can feel free to use that money. You can take the life savings of regular people to cover your debts.
Did you hear that? Because that's exactly what's going to happen. I can't believe I still have discussions with people that absolutely positively don't believe that's going to happen. Even though I gave them examples of different countries have tried and successfully taken the money away from the people. He will play more of the clips from what happened in Cyprus, but more importantly, you need to pay attention to the leaked video of the bankers.
Oh, and that's exactly what happened in Cyprus. They took all of that extra money. All of it. Billions. In fact, depositors in 2 different Cypriot banks lost billions when the savings were confiscated in order to protect the island's banking system. They took all of it. Again, this is known as a bail-in, not a bail-out. So what is a bail-in? A bail-in is different than a government bailout, where the federal government will swoop in with money to save a failing bank or business. A bail-in uses the money that's already deposited into the accounts to save itself from financial disaster and financial collapse. In other words, it's when the bank steals your money in order to cover its debts. And it's all perfectly legal, by the way. After the 2008-2009 financial collapse, the UK government, for instance, and the European Union and the United States, under the Dodd-Frank Act, added the bail-in as a financial tool to help the banks save themselves.
How they presented this bill to us was, after the bailouts, people were pissed. Taxpayers did not want to bail out the banks. So Obama will pass a law that prohibits the government from bailing out the banks with taxpayer dollars. But what they didn't tell you was a provision in that same bill for what they call bail-ins. When you open up an account, you guys got to read the pamphlets, because it tells you on there that any money that you deposit into the bank account is no longer your money. It becomes the property of the banks, and the bank can do whatever it wants with your money legally. So how come people aren't raising hell about this type of stuff? Because they keep us distracted with all this BLM, Antifa, balloons flying in the sky, transgenders in bathrooms. Do you see what they're doing? We're so distracted with this nonsense out there while they continue to rob us blind, pass legislation that hurts the people and doesn't protect them nor help them.
Here's a issue from the Bank of England, executing a bail-in, an operational guide from the Bank of England, how to do it. Here's a handbook. Here's my favorite headline. I love this headline. Why bail-ins will be the new bailouts.
Well, if you think about it, countries from Ireland to Hungary to Argentina have all done this. And according to Andrew Henderson's book, Nomad Capitalist, he says, with over $25 trillion in retirement in the U.S. alone, it's not that far-fetched to assume that your broke government will succumb to the temptation to dip into those retirement funds, especially as we see the national debt ratcheting up with, elevated military budgets. 11 countries and counting have done so in the past.
11 countries have already done bail-ins. They took the money from the people. We don't talk about it in the news because they don't want the citizens to know about this. They're just going to take your money. And what can you do about it? Bitch all day? If that happens to you and you've been listening to my videos, then it's your fault that it happened. Because I warned you about this stuff several times over the last couple years to do what it takes to protect yourself. Again, let me suggest you at least move 25-30% of your savings into gold and silver. If that's a lot of gold and silver for you to be having in your house and you're worried about it, talk to Money Metals about giving you your own segregated storage for your gold and silver. Okay, you can get that over there. It's not mixed in with other people's gold and silver. You have your own area. It's not blended in with what they sell or what they hold for other people. It's a standalone. Currently, Money Metals are holding on to gold and silver to several of my listeners. They had a lot of money in their retirement accounts and they transferred all of it over to gold and silver. Not just 25 or 30%, but all of it. And it ended up being so much gold and silver that they were nervous about it and they put it into segregated storage that Money Metals has. So protect yourself because you will wake up and there is going to be a bail-in. As soon as you hear what's coming up and you hear the leaks from these bankers, what they're saying, Then you're going to want to turn around and head on over to Money Metals. The link is down below in the description. You guys know what a bellend is. I'm going to move it up. The leaked videos of the bankers. But real quick before I do, I'm going to show you that something's already happening. Pay attention.
Sorry, under these laws, the banks can just take this money. It doesn't matter. Over the past 24 hours, there have been many reports of banks across Africa taking people's money. When they go to get answers, they're being shut down. No access to ATMs. This is Axis Bank customers trying to use ATMs, but they can't. They watch as rich customers inside the bank are walking out with bags of money, but they are not allowed to access the ATMs outside. See the metal bars? I'll show you this. Watch. This is Nigeria.
This is Access Bank at Ifako. While a lot of customers are standing outside to have access to the ATM, the security guards locked the compound, the access to the ATM, took some people inside, collected their ATM cards, and have been giving them money in bulk. Where they are, look at the people. Those are people they allow in. Those are the people they allow. They allow these people in to give them bulk. They give them access to bulk cash. While their customers are out there, restricted from having access to the ATM. This is GT Bank at Ifako, opposite Zenith Bank. Access Bank, opposite Ifako.
Jeez.
I think it was over somewhere in the Middle East, Lebanon, I think is what it is. The banks were keeping the money from the people and they made some excuse. You had people robbing the banks anyways, just to steal back their own money. They weren't trying to get extra money. They were just stealing the money that belonged to them. So it's happening in countries already now. How long until it hits the United States? You better be ready. Also, what's happening around our territory, we're noticing a lot of banks are closing down. So they are already preparing for what's coming up, the central bank digital currency. Different branches have been closing their banks where we live. So what you're seeing happening with these banks is a test run. They just do them in certain areas at first just to see what happens. And then all of a sudden they'll do it at once everywhere.
They want you just to use the digital banking services because they don't want to have an interaction with you. Here's just one example of people showing up demanding their money at Bank of America.
Also keep in mind, they're going to use people being pissed off and attacking banks as an additional excuse for the central bank digital currency. So all hell's going to break loose in the banking system. Guess what? We have a solution for this problem. If the banks are going to ignore you, customer service is going to ignore you, you can't get your money, they take the money from you, or you're limited to the amount of funds you can get in your ATM, you should be in the central bank digital currency. Nothing that is happening is going to be a coincidence. It's all a planned event.
So I'm a Bank of America and everybody's missing money. I'm also missing money over $1,300 and they're telling me to call customer service. And they keep hanging up on people. This another person here is also missing money. So we're trying to see what's going on. Money's missing today and we need our money. And they're already telling us to call customer service. And customer service ain't doing nothing about it. So just a heads up, if anybody's experiencing this, please let us know because this is not right. I'm missing $1,400 from my account and they're telling me that there's no way they can help us. This guy's missing money too. This other person is missing money too. And you missing money too? There you go. So this is not something that's just one person. This is everybody's happening to them. And this is crazy. This is very crazy. Yes, Bank of America decided to take people's money without their consent. And we're asking what's going on and they're giving us a runaround.
So the bank takes your money and gives you how, and you catch flack trying to get your money back or find out what's happening. They'll make every excuse in the world about what happened to your money, basically delaying you. This could take days, in some cases weeks, for them to do a so-called investigation. Can you afford to go days without your money? Weeks without your money? No. That's why you need to take your money now out of the bank account and store it into gold and silver. Okay, I'm going to move forward to the leaked video because it's important.
And so now we have our first stunning piece of video from the FDIC and a stunning meeting that they held in November that they don't want you to see. So it just leaked and this video is out. You're going to see members of the FDIC and other panel discussions in this FDIC meeting. It's not just FDIC members. It's lawyers, it's bankers, but they're all around a table having a meeting admitting that a crash is coming. They're saying this. And they're also saying publicly in this meeting, and they all kind of laugh about it, that they don't have any faith in the banks. They also admit on camera that they don't want you to know this because only people who need to know that it's coming should be notified,
The rich people.
i.e. the wealthy. They don't want you to know about this. And they say it in this meeting. You common people shouldn't be told because you would take your money out of the banks and then they wouldn't be able to use your money for bail-in purposes to save the banks. We'll let the rich people know about this, just like in March 2020. They made moves because we alerted them. They sold their stocks. They were in the know. They were fine. And you got screwed. And they're saying this in this meeting. This is the FDIC meeting. I'm going to show you a couple of different sound bites here. This is amazing. Watch.
Should be accessible when people need to know, but I don't think you have much hope of reaching a public that doesn't have a professional need to know.
I completely agree with that. I almost think you'd scare the public if you put this out. Like, why are they telling me this? Should I be concerned about my bank?
Yes.
Like, my insurance company doesn't tell me what they're doing with my assets. They just assume they're going to pay my claim. Right? I think you've got to think of the unintended consequences of taking a public that has more full faith and confidence in the banking system than maybe people in this room do.
Wow. He said the public has more faith in the bank than that group of people do, and they are the bankers.
You hearing them laughing?
They're laughing. That's really stinking condescending.
So we don't have faith in the banking system in here, and they all laugh. They're like, yeah, none of us do. We're the FDIC.
We can't tell the little people what's really going on here. It'll just scare them, and their little brains can't handle it.
Because if they do, oh my God, they might panic, and they might actually want their own money that they worked 40 years of their lives for.
We want them to have full faith and confidence in the banking system. They know the FDIC insurance is there. They know it works. They put their money in. They're going to get their money out. So there's a select crowd of people that are in the institutional side. And if they want to understand this, they're going to find a way to understand this. There's a bunch of law firms represented in this room. There's a bunch of people who charge them by the hour a lot of money to explain this all to them. And it's fine. I don't have a problem with that. And they all have huge staffs. But I would be careful about the unintended consequences of starting to blast too much of this out in the general public.
I wondered whether there are some market tests of whether you're being heard.
They want total chaos. They want people to go crazy. You're going to see people killing other people, people starving to death. About 1/3 of the population is predicted to starve to death. This isn't fear porn. This isn't fear mongering. This is the truth. So make sure you guys share this video so people can see this, all right? They need to hear this. I'm going to fast forward up to more of the leaked video.
Don't worry. Don't use any money. We'll figure this out, and we'll take care of you or not. We'll tell you on a Friday night. Listen to her explain when this will happen. Watch.
How would we use targeted guarantees to allay concerns about excess cash use? There's a lot of questions here. And so, there are a lot of things we've been thinking about, and what we want to hear from you today is what you think the priorities would be in order to go about setting expectations appropriately in public about how we would execute Title II. So that if and when we do have to have that announcement on Friday night, ideally Friday night, that people are in a position to receive it, understand it, and say, yeah, that works. And we can see how this will happen. Of course, there will be doubters, but there's a lot of things going on.
Do you hear what they're doing? They do it on a Friday night because the banks are usually closed on the weekends. Not all of them. I get it. Some are open on Saturday. Now, she said something about Title II. So here we go. Dodd-Frank, Title II, Orderly Liquidation Authority. So what is Title II? The orderly liquidation provisions of the Dodd-Frank Act provides a process to quickly and efficiently liquidate a large, complex financial company that is close to failing. Title II provides an alternative to banking in which the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, the FDIC, is appointed as a receiver to carry out the liquidation and wind up of the company. The FDIC is given certain powers as a receiver and the 3 to 5 year time frame in which to finish the liquidation process. So how long do you think before they give you your money? 3 to 5 years? Okay. Can you guys wait that long? Gold and silver. You better get it. Title II is aimed at protecting the financial stability of the American economy, forcing shareholders and creditors to bear the losses. You are a shareholder. So how the bail-ins work is they take your money and then they issue you stock in that bank. That's how they're trying to guarantee you'll get your money. So you become a creditor to the bank, you become a shareholder. And you see right here, it says forcing shareholders and creditors to bear the losses of a failed financial company, removing management that was responsible for the financial conditions of the company, and ensuring that payouts to claimants is at least as much as the claimants would have received under a bankruptcy liquidation. So it doesn't make a difference what the FDIC insures you for. Now they're telling you the FDIC takes control of the bank, liquidates it, takes all their assets, whatever money is left over after all the creditors are paid off. Oh, another thing you need to keep in mind first and foremost is derivatives. Derivatives are priorities. Those are paid out. So there's something like $9 billion of derivatives in this nation. So as soon as banks liquidate and they pay the derivatives, how much money do you think you're going to get? You still think you're going to get all your money? You still think you're going to get what's insured up to $200,000? You're not. This is a planned event. They changed the laws to give the banks the power. And you see that right here. Forcing shareholders and creditors to bear the loss of a failed financial company. It says right here as well, don't forget, and ensuring that payout to claimants is at least as much as the claimants would have received under a bankruptcy liquidation. So you can see right here which creditors are paid first in a liquidation. It tells you when a corporation is liquidated in the United States, its creditors are paid in a particular order as required by Section 507 of the Bankruptcy Code. The order in which creditors are paid is very specific. In other words, rich people get their money first. And it was designed to protect those with direct interest in the liquidated party's assets. You notice it says secured creditors, just so you know. When the bank issues you your shares after they steal your money, you are not a secured creditor. They even tell you you're not considered a secured creditor. So secured creditors are first in line as their claims over assets are often secured by collateral in contract. So your shares are not secured. Unsecured creditors are divided between preferred and non-preferred, as certain unclaimed creditors like employees and tax agencies are given priority. So before you as the customer even get paid, there's another group of people that are in front of you before you get paid. Shareholders are often last in line to receive proceeds, with preferred stock shareholders getting better treatment than common stock shareholders. This is exactly what they give you. It's called a common stock, non-secured common stock. You are the very, very last in line after the bankruptcy takes place, which can take years. And then now get this, to add injury to insult, look how much more the government screws you over. Look at this. Section 507A of the U.S. Bankruptcy Code states that administrative expenses of the bankruptcy proceedings receive priority. Therefore, the cost of overseeing the bankruptcy estate, such as legal fees, professional fees, and post-petition expenses of operating the debtor's company, receive preferred status. There's going to be nothing left at the bottom of the totem pole, and why you should take your damn money out of the bank now and invest it into gold and silver. So when you get your shares from the bank, because that's what a bail-in does, you need to read it, you become a common equity shareholder. Common equity shareholders often receive the lowest level of priority. Your money is gone. If you have a bank secured box in there, you know what I'm talking about? That one box that's in there, people usually stash stuff in there for protection. If you have your stuff in there, that's confiscated as well. They go through and find out what is of value, because people have held money in there, gold in there, jewelry, precious jewelry, stuff, precious metals, stocks. If it's in there, they confiscate it. Yes, it's all part of the bail-in. If you have crypto that's linked to a bank account and the bank is going through this, they have the authority to confiscate your cryptocurrencies. I have shown in videos several times in which the banks state there as clear as day, the confiscation includes cryptocurrencies linked to the bank account. You're not safe with cryptocurrencies. So let's hear some more of this leaked video.
Spread should respond to good and bad news about the institutions, and it's really important. I mean, it's a little bit conflicted, right? I mean, it's important that people understand they can be bailed in, but you don't want a huge run on the institution. But they're going to be. And it could be an early warning signal to the FDIC and the primary regulators when these things happen. And there may be some other prices. This is similar to what Jay was saying in the market that you can tell whether people understand who's going to be protected, who isn't going to be protected. It would be, I think, an interesting study to look at the evolution of market prices in a situation like March of 2020, for example, and see whether people understood what might happen.
I might go further than that, Don, because I think that...
So listen to this next guy. This is unbelievable. So this guy just admitted that most people didn't understand because they weren't educated about it. The people that were in the know managed to be okay.
Oh, my listeners are educated. I have done so many videos on a bail-in. If you're new to my channel, you better pay attention and go learn what a bail-in is. On my last channel, I've done several videos explaining it and warning people about it. So my listeners are absolutely, positively educated on what a bail-in is.
The people that got screwed because they weren't in we wouldn't give them information. Listen, though, to the next guy.
You look at the evolution. I think we have to sit down and talk to long-term debt investors and make sure that they, as a stakeholder group, fully understand bank debt today is not what it was before. It is not principal protected by design. And I think that that expectation, I like how you started off, Betsy, it's all about expectation setting. And I think that is absolutely critical. If that doesn't hold, this whole thing doesn't hold. And so I think it's one area to focus on.
So if the expectation doesn't hold, then this whole phony house of cards collapses.
You heard what he said, but this is by design. They already know this is coming. They planned this event. So again, a shout out to Redacted. The video kicks ass. I will leave a link so you can watch the whole video. You should be able to sign online and just look up information on what happens in a bail-in. They use a lot of trickery with wording. You have to be able to understand what it is they're saying exactly. I seen for Canadians, and the wording it kept mentioning something about 2AC, 3AC, stuff like that. And they're saying is protected from a bailout. And then you go there and it says, yes, this is protected unless it's converted into an asset owned by the bank. And then you go a little bit further down the line and it says they confiscate that and take it away as an asset. So they already know it's going to be taken away. But just so it throws people off track and they don't pay attention to the wording, whether it's their retirement account, the IRA account, or cryptocurrencies, it says these things are protected. And then it has an exception in there. Most people don't go to the exception. Okay? And then you realize it's not protected at all. Look, you can continue to gamble because that's what this is. Gamble on keeping your money in the bank. And one day you're going to wake up and curse my name. You're going to go, damn it, he was right and I lost so much money. Putting your money into gold and silver protects your money, protects your wealth, protects your family, protects you from inflation, protects you from bailouts. This big event serves a purpose to depopulate the earth as much as possible. Whether you believe it or not, it doesn't make a difference. To have people in such chaos and desperation, they'll take any little handouts that they can get from the government. You don't want to do that. Protect yourself. I can't warn you enough. Anyways, reach out to Money Metals. They have the most competitive prices when it comes to gold and silver. They will help walk you through on how to transfer 401ks and your IRAs. If you want to transfer 25, 30%, or all of it over, protect yourself, protect you and your family. And if that's a lot of money, tell them you want to place it in a segregated, secure storage, and they'll do that for you. Make sure you let them know that Pimpy sent you, all right? You guys need to share this video. Let other family members see this. The best you can do is just show people, and it's up to them to take the next step. Anyways, that's it for now, you guys. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. I look forward to it. That's it for now. I'm out.